Tonight, some dissent on the deal. At least one GM plant votes down the new contract. We'll see what that means. The heart is conflicted. A new study says drug-coated stents are the way to go for heart patients. We'll have details. And a leap of faith for Citigroup investors. Earnings drop, but the shares go up. How does CEO Chuck Prince plan to keep that faith going?
From Bloomberg World Headquarters in New York City, this is Evening Edition on Bloomberg.
Hello, everybody. Mike Schneider here. Glad you're there. It's good to have you with us as we get underway for you on this Thursday evening. All right, we move along right now. It has been a couple of years since Hurricane Katrina essentially leveled much of the city of New Orleans and wiped away the old school district. Today, officials continue the rebuilding process of the broken system. Scott Cowen is president of Tulane University. He's also been appointed by the mayor of New Orleans to lead a committee to reform and rebuild the city's failing public school system. And he joins us in the studio tonight, and we do appreciate that. These must be busy times for you, and from the outside looking in, knowing what we know happened to New Orleans, we, I guess, should start by saying, where do things stand now? How bad was it, and how much has been restored?
You know, first of all, I've never been more hopeful about the future of New Orleans than I am today. And whenever I say that, people ask, what do you mean by that? I think before Katrina happened, we knew we had questions about the levees. We knew we had a failed public school system. We knew we had issues with crime, and we knew we had issues with neighborhoods. Now we're 2 years after Katrina, and guess what? We're now making progress on every one of those issues that we couldn't solve before the storm, and we're going to be a lot better city in the long run because we're working on the tough issues right now.
You got universal acclaim throughout this country for your ability to get your campus back together, to get the kids back in class, to get the students studying, to get the buildings and the campus functioning again. The New Orleans public school system, though, has been in trouble for a long time. How with what's happened there, with the tax base impacted the way it was, where do you go? What do you do? Who's helping the most?
Actually, we have the largest experiment in urban education going on right now in New Orleans. We have 81 schools open. Half of those schools are charter schools. That's the largest percentage of charter schools in America. So we're experimenting with a new model of public education in New Orleans, which I think could serve as a model for other cities around the country. It's a work in progress, but as of today, we're really pleased with the progress we're making.
When you say charter schools, you're talking about schools that are aimed at kind of specific specialties for students with specific interests? What do you mean by charter schools?
A charter school is really an autonomous school where you delegate to the principal a lot of authority and responsibility for running that school. And the charter school actually has its own board. The principal is responsible to that board. So it's really an autonomous school.
So it's not like a magnet school. It's a different...
It could be. There are certain charters that actually have a theme to them, like arts or music or language. But a charter school is almost like an independent public school, but it's held to strict accountability rules. And every 5 years, they have to be accountable for how they have progressed with student achievement.
Are they geographically oriented, or are they open to anybody who wants to go there?
We have two kinds of charter schools. Some are what we call open admissions. Anybody can go to it. Others are selective admission schools. We're ultimately going to go to open admissions for all charter schools, but it's going to take us several years to get there, so we have a combination.
In terms of where you reach out for help, is the federal government, is your state government doing what's necessary to get you where you need to be?
Things are a lot better now than they were a year ago. I think we were all very disappointed and frustrated with the federal government's response after the storm. We're now, I think, making more progress. Having said that, we're still going to need additional help, in particular from the federal government and from the state. Because we're finding 2 years later that the damage was much more devastating than what we thought, and quite honestly, not enough funds have been allocated.
Do you have enough books? Do you have enough classroom space? Do you have all of the tools of education necessary?
In public education, the three biggest problems we still have are facilities, funding, and a lack of teachers. So we need help on all three of those issues. To give you an example on facilities, we sustained $1.5 million worth of damage in the public school system just to the facilities alone. Most of that money will come from FEMA, but it's been a very long and excruciating process to get that money. In the meantime, we've had to do a lot of workarounds to get facilities.
And your biggest immediate goal right now is?
Our business is to make sure that we get as many schools open to cater to all the students who want to be in the school system itself.
Only about 10 seconds here. How many kids are in the system now as opposed to before Katrina?
33,000 students are in the public education system now. before Katrina, 65,000.
Do you think you'll get back to that number?
I don't think we'll be back to 65,000 anytime soon. My guess is that within the next 5 years, that number might build up to about 50,000. But I think it'll be many, many years, if ever, that we get to the 65,000 student mark.
And President Cowen, we have to leave it there. We certainly appreciate you coming in, and we wish you all the luck in the world.
Thanks very much, Mike.
President Scott Cowen of Tulane University. We'll be back with more in a moment.